Hi, I'm Anne Batley-Burton, Champagne Lady. Welcome to the third series of my show, Keeping Up with Champagne Lady. Cheers. Yes, I am Champagne Lady. That's my nickname and my business. So it's not just because I drink a lot of it, it's because I've been importing it for 23 years. And I hope you can keep up with me as I travel New Zealand introducing my Champagne Jacquard to restaurants, supermarkets, liquor outlets and bars. My biggest pleasure is meeting lots of people and giving others the chance to enjoy this beautiful champagne. But before we go any further, a little bit of history about Champagne Jacquard. Suffice to say, it's the real deal. Its origins are the French Champagne region, centred around Reims, 144 kilometres northeast of Paris. As this is the first show in my new series, I've selected Queenstown to be the next place to receive a visit from Champagne Lady. It's looking lovely this time of the year, in its late summer glory. I'm taking along my good friend Amy Preble from Women's Weekly and my IT expert Alex. Gotta feed the Facebook beast, it's insatiable. We arrived late Friday afternoon and it seems everybody else in Auckland was heading for Queenstown for the weekend. Queenstown Airport was packed, planes everywhere and people stacked on top of one another. Though it was late in the day, the first person to contact was Queenstown Mayor Jim Bolt. Thanks for taking the time because I know you're extremely busy. I mean, there's so much happening down here. It's just exploded over the last few years, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yes, it's become an international place to come. We used to talk about the tyranny of distance and that it was a barrier for people to come here. I think it's actually an advantage now because they like the safety and security of coming to our little rock in the South Pacific.
Well, I bet they do because I must say I love to get down here myself every opportunity I can. It's fantastic. How big has it grown, Jim? I mean, over the last 30 years, it must have developed hugely.
I moved here in 1982 and people said to me, what do you want to move there for? You know, a little one-dog town. Helped that I was very keen skier, so was my wife. But population then was around 3,000. I mean, it's not massive. Permanent population now in the whole district's about 30,000. I mean, that's growth on its own. But there's many nights in the year now where we are the South Island's second largest population centre. We go to about 120, 130,000 people on big nights.
That is unbelievable, 120,000 people. What would you think the tourist market is made up of?
Our biggest market is still Australians. We get a lot of folk coming over from Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, particularly long weekend skiing holidays. Second largest market is close between the US and China.
It's such a beautiful destination also for people who want to have a second home, isn't it? I know ourselves, we've often thought, build another house here because it's stunning whether it's wintertime or summertime. It's just a gorgeous spot to be.
Oh, it is. And, you know, one of the lovely things is it changes so much with the seasons. I often say if you were put to sleep for an indeterminate amount of time and woken up, you would say, it's May or it's,
yes,
you know, it's August, whatever. It just changes that much.
What brought you to Queenstown in the first place, Jim, you and your wife?
Oh, I'm a bit of a pioneer at heart, and when we moved here we didn't have a family, and as I said, we were keen skiers. Just fell in love with the place, really. Came here as a kid a lot on holiday, born in Invercargill, so pretty close. And look, it's just the best thing I've ever done. I just love the place. You know, having been here for 37 years, I still get up in the morning, I look at the mountains, and I just think, yeah, I know why I moved here. I'm in love with the place.
Well, that's wonderful, particularly being the mayor. I think it's important to have your heart in something, isn't it? You've really got to feel passionate about an area to be able to do the best for it.
Oh, you've got to be passionate about it, and hell I am. Look, having lived here for a long time, I got to the stage where I was unhappy with some of the things that were happening and not happening in the town. And you can go to the pub with your mates on a Friday night and moan about it, or you can stand up and do something about it. So I decided I would stand for mayor, surprise myself against 4 other candidates by being the top polling candidate and getting better than half the total vote. So I obviously had a strong support, and we've made a lot of changes since we've been in, and I think the changes are very good and very well perceived.
That's wonderful because, as my father always said, nothing happens unless someone wants to make it happen. Do it now, tomorrow may be too late.
Yeah, dead right. We are the fastest growing centre in New Zealand. If you don't actually address it now, tomorrow, it just really will be too late because the ship sailed.
I was trying to make a reservation for dinner tonight and all the restaurants are full, so I think we left it too late.
Well, it shows you two things. One, we've got really good restaurants, and two, just how busy they are.
Yes, exactly. You know, I've got wonderful memories years ago of being on that beautiful boat, the Earnslaw, but where is it? I can't see it on the harbour.
Well, right now I think it's over at Walter Peak.
Yes.
But you know, the interesting thing about our steamship, it was launched the same year the Titanic was launched and sunk, but I think our steamship has been a lot more successful.
It certainly has. It's a good omen for Queenstown.
It certainly is.
My TV show, which we're on right now, is called Keeping Up with Champagne Lady. Do you think that Queenstown is a champagne town?
Well, you're from Auckland, aren't you?
Yes.
Right, so I'm the person who figured out what Jaffa means. Just another fabulous Auckland.
Oh, I was glad to hear that.
Yes, because it is a great champagne town. It is the place where people like to come and have a good time.
Well, that's great. Well, I hope you'll go and buy some of my champagne jacquard when you next see it on the list.
Count it done.
Good, thank you. Well, thank you so much for having us, Jim. It's been a real pleasure.
You're welcome, and welcome to Queenstown.
Thank you. We'll enjoy it. Thanks, Jim. What a great guy. Thanks so much for making us welcome in Queenstown. This place is on steroids. Growth everywhere. New buildings going up, people from all over the world. Doesn't anybody speak English anymore? But just a few facts and figures. Queenstown's population is 30,000 regular everyday people, but visited every year by 2.9 million tourists. Wow, 2.9 million visitors every year? Whew, after all those facts and figures, that's tiring work for Champagne Lady. Time for dinner and a glass of champagne. Jacquard, of course. Let's go to Sardine. Sardine Bar is a funky little cocktail bar located next door to White and Wong's. So it's Sardine for champagne and White and Wong's for dinner and more champagne. Amy, Alex and I were ready for our first glass before dinner. And the good news is they already stock Jacquard. So first call is, James, champagne please, Jacquard of course. And we're about to crack open a bottle of my wonderful champagne jacquard. It's just been listed down here at Sardine and White and Wong. Can't wait.
Here we go, one bottle of jacquard.
When you have, oh, now that didn't sound like the sigh of a satisfied woman. And another thing I'm very pleased to see, in spite of the fact these aren't my glasses, polished to perfection.
Polished them myself about half an hour ago.
Oh, did you? Oh, good.
I'll leave this on ice for you.
Yes, thanks.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. We're here. We can relax now and have some fun. Oh, there's Becca. Look, hey, excuse me, guys. I've just got to go and catch up with Becca. She's the manager. Rebecca is the house manager at Sardine and White and Wong, and she's a great fan of my champagne. Becca, it's so good to see you.
Yes.
How have things been going since us last out?
It's been really good. Yeah, we're getting some great feedback. It's been going really good.
And White and Wong's been going really well?
Yeah, it's going great. It's getting busier and busier. So coming, obviously the shoulder period at the moment between the summer and winter, we're hoping that winter really picks up and we'll get all the skiers in from off the slopes.
Oh, cheers, it's lovely
Cheers!
to see you again.
It's great to see you again as well, Anne.
Great.
Yeah.
What's really nice about it at the moment, I mean, looking out here, you've got such an amazing area, haven't you? The view is gorgeous, and you must get a huge amount of just passing trade, people wandering along the lakeside.
Yeah, definitely. The people getting off the boats and things like that. And it's great because the water taxi just stops right across the water as well. So
where do they come from?
the Hilton.
Oh,
Yeah, so quite a lot of
okay.
customers from over there, so they can just hop off straight into White Wongs. And
And that's Kelvin Heights too, isn't
Yeah.
it? Oh, that's perfect. It couldn't be better.
yeah, so it's going really well.
What do you think I should have for dinner tonight at White and Wong? Because I think you might remember I can't have anything peppery or too hot.
So our whole menu is Southeast Asian fusion, as you probably know.
Yes.
And yeah, designed to share in, so it just comes out of the kitchen as and when it's ready, rather than your entree main dessert. It's just, so it's very, very casual style of dining, but also very excellent. Have you had their dumplings?
No, I haven't.
The prawn dumplings, amazing. And my favourite dish on the menu by far is the kingfish sashimi. So it's got some coconut, some mint, chili, tomatoes coming through, so really light, really fresh.
We'll see you later on. at
Yeah,
White
of
Wong.
course. Yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Rebecca. Champagne Jacquard is selling well. Rebecca knew we were famished after our long day of travel from Auckland and had organised a wonderful meal at White and Wong's. White and Wong's is East meets West. They take classic street food from China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Malaysia and Thailand. Noodles, soups, curries and delicious dumplings. There is something for everybody to choose from. Alex, Amy and I loved it. I think the key word here is tasty. White and Wong's brings big and fresh Asian flavours to the heart of Queenstown, right on the lake. Thank you for a wonderful meal, White and Wong's, and sardine at 59 Beach Street, Queenstown. And thanks for stocking my beloved Champagne Jacquard. Being Champagne Lady, I just love shopping and I'm itching to get at it. With 2.9 million visitors to Queenstown every year, there has arisen many fabulous shopping opportunities, none more so than Bonds. They sum it up when they say Bonds is your destination for unique and beautiful gifts for yourself, friends or family. The founder and creator of Bonds, my friend Bonnie Rodwell, first tells me just how much Queenstown has changed.
We've got so many different people now from different cultures. We've got so much. Look at Dorothy Brown's over in Arrowtown where you can see all the art movies and it's so beautiful. There's the seasons, we can sometimes have 4 seasons in a day here, but July and August we've got electric blue skies and snow everywhere, and then in the summer we've got the lake that's usually so calm and gorgeous. Driving to work each day, I live close to Arrowtown, it's just magic. It's a beautiful place.
It certainly is. Well, we've been in Arrowtown earlier today, just loved it, absolutely stunning.
I live in a little place. It's a funny little house, but I've got my own, it's an acre and a half and I've got put an organic orchard.
Oh, have you?
And I've got my hens.
Oh, good.
5 little hens. And I've got put in about 50 rose bushes, and that's what you can do in Queenstown. You can live either in the city or you can live rurally, easily, and still little travel distances.
The shop is looking amazing, and I mean, these are gorgeous, aren't they? I love these cushions.
Yeah, well, cushions are something that guests can take, that customers can take back overseas with them. We take the inners out, and it's just a little bit of mostly New Zealand. The possum cushions are very attractive for international buyers. And the possum rugs, many in Australia, Australians don't like the possum rugs because they think, they don't understand that in New Zealand the possum is a serious pest.
Yes.
And we take just the winter coat from the possums, which is the thicker coat, and we just take the best part of the possum. So in that particular rug there's 72 skins.
Good heavens, 72?
72 skins.
Oh my God.
And they're heirlooms, they last forever.
How do you go about cleaning them?
Well, they don't need a lot of cleaning because hopefully you don't do silly things on them, but you can easily spot clean them.
Yes.
It's a natural product, and mostly if there's not a lot of interference along the way and not a lot of chemicals used, the possums, that's what will happen with them. It's a product that can last over and endure that sort of treatment.
But you've got a lot of beautiful vests and coats and so on, and they've got the possum often in this lining, haven't they, as a lining?
Yeah, we do the possum lining and sometimes the possum collar. For the coats we have done possum all over, but it's a lot of possum. It makes a big girl like me look twice the size.
What made you open Bonds in the first place, and how did you choose the name?
Well, my name is Bronwyn, and when I was starting Bonds, I looked for something simple. My parents always called me Bonds, B-O-N-S.
Oh.
And I thought I'll just swap that S for a Z,
Yes.
so it's Bonds for the best of New Zealand.
Oh, great. Oh, that's very clever.
I started Bonds about 40 years ago, that ages me, and I started in a very little way, designing knitwear and selling it to some of the souvenir shops. And there was nothing like I was making then and designing little markups. I made such a little amount of money on it that I worked full time and would sit up all night trying to, start this little business I had in mind. And after many years of wholesaling, Australia and New Zealand, my first store I opened up was in the Rocks in Sydney. and I opened a few more up in Australia, and then this space was becoming available, and the owners of it designed it for me.
Oh, great.
And that's why Bonds fits in so well to it.
Yes.
Um,
made for it.
and we design for both a local, mainly an international market that comes out visiting here and wants to have really something from New Zealand that's really good, that's good quality, that doesn't date, that's still fashionable, and a New Zealand made product.
Yes.
That will last a long time.
Well,
a
you're
nice
absolutely
memory.
right, because when I look around the store, there is just so many things, and you're quite correct, they will never date. You can wear them forever, and I'm sure people do. And I do remember Bonds and the Rocks, actually. I just immediately had a vision of it, because I used to spend a lot of time over there. It was a fantastic store. You've got your own workshop here, haven't you?
Yes, we've got a design room. So we design the hand knits, and we use some of the best yarn in the world. We're using a lot of alpaca now. It's light and it's waterproof, and it's just making a garment that hangs a lot better. And we buy that in. The knitters, we work from here. So there's a big wool room out here that's full of yarn, and we send out to the knitters. They work from their home, and we send it out. And then we have a factory not too far from here that makes all our leathers.
What type of leathers are they?
We mostly use slink skin, which is the baby lambs.
Oh, okay.
So there is a
Very soft.
Yes, that's why it's so soft. There's a 10% rate. They either die stillborn or they die from the frosts. So 10% die stillborn and another 5% from frosts, early frosts. So we use those skins. The farmers put them out at the gate, and the truck collects them and takes them to the tannery. And they get tanned beautifully here in New Zealand, and then they go to our factory that makes our leathers.
And where's that?
It's about an hour and a half drive from Queenstown.
Oh gosh, so it's all very local.
Because they're so small, that's why they're so light and so soft, whereas a lot of the jackets are made in New Zealand are hard.
That makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Because I don't like leather that's heavy and sort of won't well, it's not malleable, is it? It just doesn't mould to your body or anything. So obviously those ones would.
They do, and a lot of the jackets have got around 30 skins in them because
they're so tiny. Well, thank God, it'll at least make people feel better that they've died of natural causes.
Only natural causes. That's all we use at Bonds.
Yes, and this, I keep playing with this. What's this? Is this the alpaca?
No, this is a type of a sheep, and it's just a very, very woolly one.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. I love it. Be lovely as a collar around a jacket.
Some of our jackets have got collars similar to this, but we use a lot of possum because it's so much softer and it's real New Zealand, a good New Zealand fur.
It's beautiful. But it's just amazing. I mean, I can't believe it. Are you going to keep going and doing this forever, Bonnie?
Well, yes, we've just started, we're starting an e-commerce store now, and that's going to be interesting. It's the way of the future. Many people now are buying online. We're all too busy to go shopping.
That's right.
And when we travel overseas, rather than spend a lot of time shopping, we want to do cultural things and do other things. So we think it's going to be wonderful. We've put a lot of effort into getting it. It'll start in about 3 months.
Well, you've got a lot of things for the home here, quite apart from a fashion wear, you know. But is it mainly, as far as the fashion's concerned, is it mainly for women, or do you have a lot of men's clothing as well?
No, a lot of men's. We have children's as well.
You've got the whole
The
range
men's,
covered.
yeah. We've got about 8 designs in the men's jackets and about 10 in the knitwear. That's just 10 in the hand knits, and then there's a machine knits. We have vests and all sorts for men.
Well, I think we should have a little look around and just have a look at all these gorgeous things. It might
Let's
be
go.
something lovely to try on. Thank you, Bonnie. What a wonderful, talented retailer. If you can't make it to the Queenstown Mall to see this beautiful store, next best option, online shopping, simple. www.bondsgroup.co.nz. One of the rare privileges we had when staying in Queenstown was the opportunity to stay in this magnificent home with a grand piano. Nobody could play the piano. What the hell, that didn't stop us enjoying the spectacular views, the glass walkway that gave you the willies, the ingenious taps that delivered water, the 80-inch TV, the barbecue and spa pool, fabulous bedrooms, all with en suites, plus the kitchen and dining facilities. It was wonderful, the dream home. If you'd like to stay in this magnificent home, call Charlie at +61 418 755 388 or email him at clob365@gmail.com. Finally, my friend Amy from the New Zealand Woman's Weekly knew that I was a bit down after the passing of my darling dad. Amy suggested we go out by the spa pool and have a chat about how much I love my dad, Herbert Batley, otherwise known as Bert.
First thing, I know that your father passed away last Monday and you were obviously very close. How are you feeling at the moment?
Well, I have to say, Amy, if I'm honest, we've had such a terrible time in the last few weeks with Dad being in hospital and just going through hell, to be honest. We've all gone through hell with him. It's a really lovely thing to come down to this beautiful place, Queensland. I love it. And to be showcasing it, it's certainly taking my mind off all the sadness that's happened, and it's making me feel a lot better to sort of take on the next week. We're having a lovely celebration of Dad's life on Tuesday with a Dixie band playing, because he loved Dixie band music, and of course lots of champagne, and well over 100 people will be coming to celebrate his life and just really reminisce and enjoy all the good times, the happy memories. People can talk about Dad through his business life, family, friends. It's going to be great. So one of the things that Dad really taught me in life was to be reliable, and if you said you're going to do something, you do it. Yeah. And I'd made arrangements to come down here. We'd booked people in to be doing filming and made reservations, and I thought about it. You know, a couple of people said to me, look, you know, you don't have to come, we can change it. Do you want to cancel? And I said, no, it's happened. Yeah. We've had a long time to get ready for Dad passing away, since 4 years ago when he had the stroke. And we've given him so much love, so much care, paid back to him so much that he has done for my brother and myself all through the years. As you know, he basically brought us up single-handedly when I was about 12 and Don was 16. And he did an amazing job. It wasn't easy for a man in his position trying to build up a business and working really hard to do everything. He was up at the crack of dawn, baking Bertie's bickies, Aunt Mildred's cakes, squeezing his freshly squeezed orange juice, chopping up fruit, scrambled eggs, flounder, eye-fillet steak, everything. He set us off to school and university and so on, just so well prepared. And at home, we'd come home at night and he'd have had a casserole, slow cooking, long before the slow cooking movement, in the oven, ready to go. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a man who went off to the bar and went drinking with his friends and off playing golf and so on. He really devoted himself to Don and myself and put the family first, worked really hard to make sure he had the opportunity and ability to bring us up well and give us good things in life. And you know, you just can't beat that. And I remember giving Dad this little plastic thing years ago. It says, "World's Greatest Dad." Yeah. And it's still there all these years later. I was only about 14 at the time. But I do remember once when I'd stepped out of line and Dad was very annoyed with me, and I found "World's Greatest Dad" in the rubbish bin. So I thought, oh my God, this is not good. So I retrieved it from the rubbish bin and put a little sign on it, put it back on the kitchen shelf and said, "World's Greatest Father, rescued from bin by World's Greatest Daughter." He always said no sense in false modesty either. So. No, fair enough. Yes.
So responsibility, that's one of the main things you took from your dad. Anything else that he instilled?
Dad always says, you know, reliability is one of the most important traits that anyone can have. And even when you're employing somebody, hey, you can get some hotshot person who's the brightest person on the block, but you're actually, as long as the person is still intelligent, more important than that, he felt, and I agree, is reliability. Mm-hmm. And someone you can count on. And the really bad thing about Dad going is, with all due respect to other people in my life, Dad is the one person in my life who I could always count on. Dad was always there for me, and if he said he was going to do something, he would do it. And that was a wonderful feeling of security, having someone like that there for you. He used to say, I'm not here to be your friend, I'm here to be your father and bring you up with the right standards, ethics, integrity, and bring you up correctly. And he used to say, I don't care if you don't love me, but you can damn well respect me. Well, of course, we love him so much, and there was no doubt about that. But I think that's an important thing that a lot of parents these days should actually remember, because he wasn't out there thinking he's going to come and smoke dope with us or get drunk or whatever. He was there to give us standards to live up to in life, and Don and I were told in no uncertain terms that we don't smoke, that's it, and if we did, well, that was it, we're going to be disinherited. Well, that was a pretty strong incentive. Naturally, neither of us smoke. Lots of things like that. Dad was...
It's lucky you didn't put a ban on champagne.
I know, wasn't it? God forbid if you'd done that.
I'm really sorry to hear about your dad, Anne, but it looks like you're going to be celebrating his life in exactly the way that he would have wanted it next week. So thanks very much.
Yes, thanks, Anne. I appreciate that. Thank you, Amy. I did need to get that off my chest. Once again, dearest Dad, Dampy, rest in peace. You will always be loved. Well, that's our trip to Queenstown. Funny enough, there is lots more. We filmed more than enough for 2 episodes, so we decided that we needed part 2 of my trip to Queenstown. Please join us next week. We'll be lunching in Arrowtown and visiting some shops. And we'll be meeting up with Julia from the best gallery in Queenstown. It's called Central Art Gallery, and it's on Beach Street. Oh, I forgot, some great restaurants as well. They all need champagne jacquard. Well, that's it for now. Please join me next week on the next episode of Keeping Up with Champagne Lady. Cheers.